Hey everyone, my name is Tom and this is LT Gaming. Today we're taking a break from big names and diving into something a little bit tastier. Underrated turn-based and 4X strategy games. Some of these are janky, some are deep, some will absolutely melt your brain by turn 3. But all of them do something clever, whether it's through systems, setting, or sheer design ambition. If you're into tactics, emergent storytelling, and the kind of games that don't spoon feed you anything, stick around. And if you enjoy this sort of thing, consider chucking us a like, maybe subscribing to the channel. You can even consider a channel membership. It's the best way to keep LT Gaming going and growing. Okay, let's get into it. Shadow Empire is what happens when Hearts of Iron and Alpha Centauri have a child and then leave it to be raised by Victoria. It's a post-apocalyptic 4X game where you're not just building an empire, you're stitching one together from scavenged tech, bad roads and questionable politicians. You're going to have to manage fuel shortages, rogue AI, mutant beetles, and a cabinet of advisors who probably shouldn't be left alone for too long. It's turn-based, hex-based, and as deep as it is dense. It's underrated because it looks like it was made on a graphing calculator and explains itself with the warmth of a tax audit. But behind this crust is one of the richest, most emergent strategy experiences you can have. If you like your strategy games brilliant, brutal, and a little bit mad, Shadow Empire is ready to chew you up. Battle for Wesnoth is the kind of game that's been around longer than most of our Steam libraries, and it's still going strong. It's a free, open source, turn-based tactics game set in a pixel-perfect fantasy world where terrain matters, flanking matters, and sending your level 3 elvish hero into a swamp is a guaranteed regret. The beauty is in its simplicity. Hex-based combat, permadeath, experience-based unit upgrades. It's chess with swords and goblins. And it is massive. One campaign? Nope, you get dozens. Multiplayer? Still active. Mods, absolutely endless. It is more content than most AAA games for the low price of $0. It's underrated because it's old school, chunky, and allergic to handholding, but there's a reason it's still alive after 20 plus years. It's a tactics purist's dream. If you love meaningful positioning, brutal attrition, and the satisfaction of surviving by the skin of your cloak, Wesnoth is waiting for you. Field of Glory Empires is what happens when a history professor designs a grand strategy game and absolutely refuses to compromise for modern attention spans. This is a turn-based province-level conquest game set in the ancient world. Rome, Carthage, the works. But rather than focusing on flashy battles, it's all about cohesion, decadence, and whether your growing empire can hold itself together. Expansion will create instability, provinces will get grumpy, cultural conversion takes time. It's not just paint the map, it's paint the map and then spend 40 turns convincing the paint to stop rebelling against you. This is a more thinking, less clicking type of game. If you love historical authenticity and long-term planning, this game will deliver for you. Star Dynasties is less about building an empire and more about surviving one, and usually quite badly at that. You're the head of a noble house in a fractured galactic future, trying to expand your power through arranged marriages, blackmail, diplomacy, and the occasional accidental airlock incident. There's no tech tree here, no tactical battles, it's all relationships, success, and scandal. Think Crusader Kings in space, but with fewer horses and more hereditary betrayal. It's underrated because it's subtle, it's not flashy or fast, your decisions do carry weight, and every rumour can be weaponized. Every cousin can ruin everything for you. If you like politics, player-driven storytelling, or you just want to roleplay as a petty aristocrat with a grudge and a star map, this is going to be your game. Heroes of Might and Magic 5 is the most slept on gem in the whole Heroes of Might and Magic series, and yes, I said that in my full ranking every Heroes game, where I said it is chronically underrated. It nails the classic Heroes formula, sprawling maps, hero progression, crunchy turn-based battles, but it wraps it in a 3D engine that can now be modded to look great on modern systems, and then it layers in one of the best skill systems the series ever had. Factions feel properly distinct, and combat's got that real blend of tactics, timing, and just enough RNG to keep it spicy. It's often cited as the last great Heroes game, and honestly, I agree. It's underrated because it stands in the shadow of Heroes 3, unfairly, but Heroes 5 holds up. Gorgeous music, strong campaigns and deep mechanics. Fantasy tactics with a proper strategic loop and a bit of bite, Heroes 5 still absolutely sings. Humankind was pitched as the Civ killer, but that's not quite fair. It's not trying to replace civilization, it's trying to rethink it. The big twist here is you don't stick with one culture. As you advance through the ages, you pick a new one, blending traits from Egyptians to Mongols to Swedes across a single campaign. It's clever, flexible, and no two runs feel the same. Battles play out in their own tactical layer, cities can stretch across entire regions, and the emphasis on influence and stability make expansion feel genuinely strategic. At launch, of course, it was a bit uneven. Good ideas, but not all fully cooked. But in classic underdog fashion, it's made a real comeback. The devs have rebalanced systems, expanded diplomacy and added proper mod support. It's gone from promising to properly polished. If you love historical 4X and Civ 7 pissed you off, Humankind is ready for that second chance. Interstellar Space Genesis now. It's a classic space 4X through and through. Colonization, research, diplomacy, ship design, space monsters, the lot. But where it shines is how clean and focused it is. The galaxy is manageable, the AI holds its own, and turns move quite fast. No 20-minute clickfest just to finish one round. Combat's turn-based with ship customization that actually matters, and exploration has a lovely sense of the unknown. It's underrated because it didn't launch with much fanfare, no big name publisher, no cinematic trailer, just a smart, solid 4X made by people who clearly love the genre. If Stellaris feels bloated and Master of Orion 2 feels too ancient, this sits beautifully in the middle, familiar, punchy and quietly brilliant. Kingdom Dungeon Hero is developed by Kraken Studios, who are the same folks behind Warplan. It blends hex-based fantasy warfare with hero-led dungeon missions, and a strategic layer that feels solid without being bloated. This is all played out on gigantic maps that can let you run up to a 50 kingdom sandbox. It's underrated because it launched very quietly, no big marketing push, a somewhat basic UI, and it sits between genres. But it has charm, moderate complexity, and there is some real depth here, where decisions will matter and nothing demands endless micromanagement. This is for strategy fans who love hex-based war games but with some fantasy flair. Now this one is a niche pick, but for the right audience it's an absolute gem. Thea 2 the Shattering is a strategy game that politely refuses to sit in any box. It's a 4X, it's a survival sim, it's a deck builder, it's also somehow a Slavic mythology storybook with some crafting. You're going to lead a small tribe through a shattered world, gathering resources, raising kids, surviving curses and resolving story events with a brilliant little card-based system. There's exploration, settlement building, research, all the usual 4X suspects, but on a smaller, more personal scale. It's not about conquering the world, it's about enduring it. This one is underrated because it sits at a weird crossroads of strategy and storytelling. It doesn't really shout about itself, but if you give it a chance, it's got a ton of soul. If you love narrative choices with some mechanical bite, or you just want a game where your scout can be eaten by a demon squirrel during a religious dispute, Thea 2 might be your next obsession. Oriental Empires is the kind of strategy game that doesn't rush you, or forgive you. It's slow, stately, and absolutely soaked in historical weight. Set in ancient China, it plays like a cross between Civilization and Total War, with turn-based empire building and auto-resolve tactical battles. Don't expect instant gratification with this one. This is a long game in every sense of the word. It's underrated because it's quite subtle. There's no big marketing, there's no cinematic battles, just thoughtful mechanics, solid AI, and one of the best historical settings in the genre. If you want to roleplay as a benevolent philosopher king or a ruthless feudal warlord and don't mind spending 40 turns just to unify your river valley, Oriental Empires will reward patience with genuine strategic depth. Warlock, Master of the Arcane is what happens when Civ 5 gets drunk, finds a spellbook and decides diplomacy is for cowards. It's fantasy 4X where you play as a great mage, waging magical war across hex-based maps, full of goblins, undead, and gods who are constantly one insult away from smiting you. The basics are familiar: city building, unit recruitment, research, but the magic system and faction variety add a brilliant layer of chaos. Summoning elementals, opening portals, launching firestorms at cities just to keep your neighbours on their toes. It was underrated because it came out during the heyday of Civ 5 and got unfairly brushed off as a clone, when really it's a wonderfully silly, surprisingly tight strategy game in its own right. If you want 4X with a bit of comedy, a lot of spells, and no patience for diplomacy, Warlock will absolutely deliver. Conquest of Elysium 5 is less a strategy game and more a fever dream that someone duct taped to a hex grid. It's turn-based, sure, but forget balance. This is a game where one faction turns into trees, another sacrifices virgins to summon demons, and a third doesn't expand at all, it just slowly consumes the map with fungal rot. You choose from over 20 wildly asymmetric factions, each with their own mechanics, lore, and general disregard for sanity. The UI is archaic, the visuals are functional at best, but the stories this game tells, some of the best out there in gaming. It's underrated because it looks like something you delete by accident, and it plays like something that shouldn't work, but somehow it does. If you like emergent narrative, mechanical weirdness, and you just want to roleplay as a necromancer with some commitment issues, Conquest of Elysium 5 is pure strategic chaos and it's fun.